All right, guys. Today we're gonna be looking at five preparation mistakes you must avoid if you're looking to score 250 plus and 2027 JAM UTME. Now, JAM UTME is around the corner, and it's something you really have to prepare for. If you're looking to score really high, except of course you're very okay with scoring 160, 170, 180. You understand? But if you're looking to really smash the exam and go study your dream course, let's say accounting, engineering, nursing, pharmacy, medicine, whatever it is, right? Um, you need to pay attention not to make these five mistakes when preparing for the exam, right? This is the mistakes you must avoid while you're preparing. You get me? So, this is the five things you're going to need to avoid when preparing for JAM 2027 UTME. Now, what is the first mistake that a lot of students make, and you are probably going to make if you didn't come across this video? What was the first mistake? Now, let's have a look. The first mistake is that a lot of students start jam preparation a few weeks before the exam. I'm talking about, imagine um just preparing for jam a month, or let's say 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the exam. I mean, that is really, really poor preparation. I mean, thinking about it, that you have four subjects you have to study for, and let's say you're a student and you're planning to get into nursing. You have to study chemistry, biology, physics, English. I was talking about covering the syllabus for each of these subjects. We're talking about covering the syllabus for SS1, SS2, SS3 for each of the subject, and you know how bulky these textbooks can be. So imagine you just start preparing for the exam 2 weeks or 3 weeks to the exam. I mean, it's a signal for failure. It's a signal that you are actually preparing to fail. So if you want to start, if you want to stand a better chance to actually smash the exam and get past that 240, 250, you understand, score upward, you should prepare for your exam at least 2 months to the exam, right? You should start preparing 2 months. But the best bet, right, is to start preparing for the exam at at let's say 4 months or 3 months to the exam. I mean, if you're looking to actually get that 280, 270 score, right, 300 plus, you should prepare at least for the exam 3 months. Yeah. So let's say if jam is starting, normally you sit for it April, right? So you should start preparing for the exam from January, right? You understand? You can actually even start preparing for the exam from November the following year, or the December. You understand? But even if you're not too quick to start preparation, January to April should be enough time for you to prepare and study for the exam, right? So don't start your jam preparation a few weeks to the exam. And when I use the word preparation, I don't mean you reading your book 5 hours, 7 hours, or 6 hours every day. No, you see, just studying your book, your let's say, just studying your book 2 hours a day is enough. You cover enough if you can study just 2 hours a day. But of course, you've got to be consistent with it, which is another point we're going to come into later on this video. So you have to start preparing for your jam very, very early. You understand? Like I said, start preparing from January, and then push it out to April when you're going to sit for the exam, and then be consistent. Now, what's the second mistake a lot of student make is that they jump straight into past questions without studying each subject first. I mean, you're preparing for JAM exam, and the next thing you're doing is that maybe you just go get past questions for, since I'm already using nursing as a case study. Let's say like you're preparing for nursing, so you just go get biology, chemistry, physics, and English past question, and you start answering. I mean, what are you answering? I mean, you've not read this textbook or this subject. So you're basically just staring at the question to maybe see the answer and probably just cram questions and answer. I mean, that is another pathway to ending up getting 160, 150, 170, which are poor scores in really poor. You understand? So if you should not jump straight into answering past questions. Now listen to me. This is how you work or you use past questions. Past questions are something you use after you've actually studied the subject. You understand? I mean, let's say you're preparing from January, right? You've been studying chemistry, physics, biology, English from January, February, March. You understand? You've covered a lot in these 3 months. Then for April, you can start answering past questions. Or let's say you've covered a lot in January, February. Then from March, you understand, from mid-March, you can start covering a lot of past questions, several years, you understand, from mid-March down to the April where you're actually going to write the exam. So it's not just you jumping into past questions immediately from January, February. It makes no sense. I mean, because you've not consumed a lot of information, you've not learned anything really. So you should not jump straight into past questions, right? We start studying each subject first. All right. So the third mistake a lot of students make while preparing is that they solely rely on the fact that they are attending the JAM lecture. You see, this one is something that is really common these days. You understand? And it's the one is the trap you have to pay attention to. Now, of course, the traditional way or the normal way when a student is preparing for JAM is that they start going for a JAM class or a JAM lecture, right? They just go for the one they think it's really good and they start attending. But you see, you should why JAM lectures are good to actually prepare you for JAM. I mean when you're actually going there because you know what you're going there for, right? Not going there because your friends are attending a particular JAM lecture and because it's a kind of a way or an opportunity for you to leave the house, you you are attending a JAM lecture because you want to leave the house or because a friend is attending that lecture and you're not really learning anything there. You understand? So the jam lecture, attending the jam lecture is not the problem, right? Jam lectures are useful, are helpful when preparing for jam. You understand? But you should not solely rely on the fact that you are attending the jam lecture. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of students, after attending the jam lecture, let's say they go to a jam class from 9 to 12 or 9 to 1, whatever the scenario might be, you understand? Once the student get home, they don't open their book or anything concerning jam anymore. Till the next day they go to the jam lecture, they repeat that same process from January down to April. Maybe during April, the jam class will not be the one of organizing a marathon class. You understand? But maybe to walk them through some revisions. But that is not the pathway you should be following if you are looking to hit 250 and above. You should not solely rely on the fact that you are attending a jam class because jam classes these days is that it is not the fault of the jam class, right? Or the jam lecture itself. It's just that the students themselves coming to the jam lectures are easily distracted, perhaps because of you've met several peers like yourself, several students, and some might just be coming there because they want to leave their house. They want to leave their house, not because or not really because they want to come study. You understand? So they'll be the one creating a lot of nuisance and just making noise. You understand? And you really can't hear much or really can't pick a lot from what the tutor is lecturing. So aside from your jam lecture, you should be studying at home. You understand me? Study at home every day, let's say for an hour or 2 hours after the jam lecture. You do that repeatedly for every day. It's not that you're just attending the jam lecture and that's it. The next day you go to jam lecture. You do that for several months till the exam. It makes no sense. You understand? Because you'd you would have forgotten a lot of things that was being taught before the next day, repeated it that way. You get me? This is why um we later in this video, in the next few minutes, I'm going to introducing you to how past jam can actually help you, you understand, prepare for jam whilst you are going for your jam lecture, right? The fourth step um is the fact that a lot of students don't have a study plan when preparing for jam. You understand? That's a mistake. It's also a very, very common mistake students fall into while preparing for JAMB, and that's why they end up with scores like 160, 170, 180. You don't have a study plan and you can't stick to it. You understand? You should have a study plan and stick to a study plan. You should say, okay, let's say Monday I'm studying from let's say from 12 to 2. Tuesday I'm studying from 12 to 2. Wednesday I'm studying from 4 to 5. Okay, Thursday I don't feel like studying. I won't be studying on Thursday. Maybe you have some other commitment. But okay, say Friday I'm studying from 6 p.m. to 7:30. You see, you should have a study plan and you stick to it, because it's one thing to have a study plan, then it's another thing to actually stick to that study plan that you have created for yourself. You understand? And of course, I'm going to be showing you how to actually set up a study plan and stick to that study plan. Now, the fifth mistake a lot of students make to while preparing for JAM is that they don't take JAM mock exam to actually see how well they are prepared for the main exam and how well they can manage time. You see, JAM is all about time management because you have 2 hours to answer 180 questions. And that is not enough time. You get me? Because you literally have just 1 minute to answer a question. So imagine the fact that you're dealing with physics and mathematics or chemistry where they are going to throw in some calculations. You get me? So you have to learn about time management. If not, you end up answering just, let's say, 80 questions or 100 questions instead of answering 180 questions in the 2 hours time. And that's why a lot of the students, they end up having 160, 170, 180. So to prepare that, right, to prevent that rather, and to actually prepare you, you have to take a lot of JAM mock exam. Like, that's the reason. I mean, think about it. That's the reason JAM itself, right? Before the main exam, they will set up a specific mock exam for the students to get used to the computer, get used to how the exam, the whole setup, get used to maybe learn a little bit of the time management. But what I'm trying to say here is that the JAM mock exam offered by JAM itself is not enough to prepare you because it's just a single mock exam, right? It's just the first time you are sitting for a mock exam. So you should take repeated and you understand and multiple mock exam to actually see how well you are prepared for the main exam, right? And your time management. You get me? So these are the 5 mistakes a lot of students make when preparing for JAM year in, year out. And I don't want you to make or to fall into this culprit too in for your 2027 JAM exam. So you have to pay attention to 5 of the things. And um in the beginning of this video, I told you I'm going to show you how to actually prepare for JAM so you score 27, 250, 300 and above easily. Now, of course, I'm gonna be to do this, all you need is a study platform called PassJam, right? This is what it looks like. PassJam. PassJam is a study platform created by the team at JB Content Lab Limited UK to help you actually pass jam, right? Easily on the even if you're sitting for the exam the very first time, you don't have to rewrite it the next year. If you can consistently use this platform to prepare for your jam for at least 2 months, right? You should be able to score 250 and above. Now, I can pass jam help you in this scenario? Now, it's very easy. Now, I mentioned about students like not having a study plan, right? Not having a study plan. Or okay, rather, let me just follow it up, right? I mentioned about jumping straight into past questions without studying each subject first, right? Now, past jam provides a study area where you can actually study each subject, right? Now, the thing with textbooks is that textbooks are very, very bulky, right? Imagine opening a biology textbook. It's a lot. I mean, not to uh, compare with the fact that you have to study SS1, SS2, SS3. You understand? It's a lot of information. It's because it's one thing to read a textbook, and it's another thing to actually to have a retentive memory to be able to answer questions from that when different questions from different topics are being thrown to you. You understand? So PassJam offer a study area for every subject. We've got biology, chemistry, CRS, commerce, economics, geography, government, literature and English, mathematics, physics, and use of English, where you can actually study, right? Uh the subject, right? And it is more easier for you to understand compared to the textbook you are going to go and die in the bookshop, right? Because the textbook were really not kind of created for it's textbook are more favorable to a teacher than it is for a 15 years old child or a 16 years old child, or you understand me now, who wants to prepare for jam. You understand? The teacher will have more will be able to understand that textbook more compared to that child. So to provide something that you can easily understand, this is why Pass Jam has a study section. Now, let's say you wanted to study biology, right? Let me show you how it works, right? Um, this is biology. You can see on biology we have all the syllables covered here from SS1. I mean, all the JAMB syllabus, you understand me, for uh on the topics for SS1 are being covered here, right? Following the syllabus. Then when you move, you see we have SS2 covered. When you move, you see we have SS3 covered. All you just have to do, let's say you want to start your preparation in January, right? You just start with the science of living thing. You understand? You click on it, the science of living thing. Then you read like your normal textbook, right? But this time around, it is not like your normal textbook, rather, because it's better than your normal biology textbook in the sense that what you're reading are exactly the things you need to know on that particular topic. You understand? For example, in your normal biology textbook you're going to buy it from the bookshop. The science of living thing could be 13 or 14 leaflets. That's a lot, but you can see everything. The key things you need to know are what are staring at you. You get me now? So it's really easy for you to understand uh the topic, you understand, and to learn very easily compared to the textbook, right? Now, and once you're done reading a particular topic and you understand the topic, we would want to also try to know if you actually understand the topic. You can take a 10 question test to actually answer some question on that particular topic, right? To know if you've understood that topic, or you want to still go through the material again. You understand? Now let me show you how it works. You click on the 10 question test and you can see there are questions staring at you. You have a 15 minutes timer and you have to answer 10 questions. Then when you click on submit, you get the answers to the questions, the answers you got wrongly, and the explanations. You get me? So I don't just want to show you all of these things because it will make the video a lot longer. So it's the same thing, right? For every subject, whether it's chemistry, you can see is the same. SS1, all the topics there. SS2, all the topics there. SS3, all the topics there. You get me? So let's click on fat and oil, for example. You can see it, right? It's very, very easy for you to understand the key things you need to know on that particular topic. That is what you are seeing there, right? So this is what PassJam offer you, a study area to actually study the subjects, right? The next thing we talked about is actually you solely relying on the fact that you are attending a JAM lecture. Now, let's say you are attending a JAM lecture. Yes, you can attend a JAM lecture. Then you can also use past jam to prepare for your for jam while you are back from your jam lecture. You can just use past jam to study for an hour or 2 hours a day, every day, repeatedly. You understand? It makes no more sense. You are not solely relying on the fact that you are attending a jam class. You also have something you can study with. You understand? And the thing is, the funny thing, the thing is, if you are a student and you can actually just sit at home, right? You can actually just study at home on your own for 2 hours a day. Like, you can actually just read for 2 hours a day. You don't even need to attend a jam lecture if you can just commit 2 hours a day to study with past jam. But I understand that the fact that we want to move around and we want to stay socialize. So if you're attending a jam lecture, you should use jam past jam while you're back from the jam lecture. You're rested, you've eaten. Maybe during the evening, you can go through each you study, you understand, for an hour or two. Now, we also talked about the fact of not having a study planner sticking to it. Past Jam also offer you uh, a study planner. As you can see, you can plan a particular you can plan how you want to study. You understand? It's very, very easy. You can just come here Monday. You can say, okay, I want to study Monday one. Or no, let's say you go to jam lectures, right? You come to a jam lecture. Let's say you want to study 5 o'clock when you're back from the jam lecture to for just 1 hour, let's say 2 hours, right? Then you pick the same thing. You pick for Tuesday, okay? As the same thing. I go to lectures too on Tuesday from 5 to I just want to do 1 hour on Tuesday. You understand? You pick the same thing, then maybe you say, okay, Saturday, or maybe you say, okay, Sunday I don't go to jam class, but I do go uh to church. So I'll be back from in church from 1 o'clock. Okay, let's say I want to study from 4 p.m. to let's say I want to do 2 hours to 6 p.m. Once you set up your study plan, you simply click on save plan. Now, once you save the plan, what PassJam does is that you see on Monday you've picked from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., right? Once it's before it gets to 5 p.m., once it's 4:30, right? You get a notification on your phone, just like you get notification like normal WhatsApp messages. You get it on your phone that you are supposed to start reading your study session is coming up 5 o'clock. You understand? Even if you miss that first notification, exactly 5 o'clock, you get another notification on your phone that you are supposed to be reading now. So it helps you stay consistent. You see, it answers the question of that consistency and actually sticking to a study plan. You understand? So with past jam, you can do that. Now we also talk about not taking jam mock exam to actually see how well you've prepared, right? Now Past Jam also offers you Jam mock exam. You can actually study, right? You can study, you can take multiple Jam mock exam like the re-jam exam. There's literally no difference. Like the re-jam exam, you can pick. Let's say you're preparing for nursing. You can pick biology, chemistry, okay, sorry, the full mock exam. You can pick biology, chemistry. You can pick what's it? Is it gonna physics, English, right? And you just click start mock, right? You can see now it takes you to the. You can see you have a there's a 2 hours timer there. There are 180 questions staring at you, just like the real exam, and you have to answer all of these questions. You understand me now? So it's like you are preparing for the main exam, and once you're done answering, you're done taking the mock exam, you're done. You want to submit. You just click on submit, and at the end, it shows you the correct all the answers you got wrong, the explanation to the answers. Very clear. And let me do it so you see what I'm talking about. Let me just say I'm just gonna click randomly, right? And I'm just gonna click submit. You understand? I'm just submit. So it tells me I've just answered just three questions out of 180, and I still have 120 minutes more. So I'll just say submit, right? Then you can see I got just one question correctly. So I scored. So following the normal jump calculation, I scored just 3 over 400. You understand? Because I just wanted to show you guys how it works. So you can see it shows you you can see that this was wrong. The answer is melting point. Gives you an explanation to why it's melting point, and it points you to the topic you need to revise. You understand me? So it's like that. It goes all the way down to the 180 questions. So it's really, really helpful. You take multiple jam mock exam like this. So when you are when you are studying with a tool like with a platform like this, you are taking mock exams, you're consistent with your study planner. There's no reason why you should not eat 250 and above. And apart from jam mock, this the study area, the jam mock you can add the multiple jam mock you can take and the planner. You also have access to re-jam past questions and answers. So in other words, you don't need to buy textbooks. You don't need to go to the bookshop to get biology, chemistry, physics, or English textbook. You don't need to spend money on that. You don't need to go spend money or to depend on just the mock exam from just the mock exam from JAM. You can take multiple jump mock exam. You don't need to spend money on buying past questions. You understand me now? On the first subject you want to write, the past questions are here staring at you. You get access to read jam past questions. You understand me? I mean, basically like the you say the past questions you are actually going to buy in the bookshop is the same thing that is staring at you. You understand me? So let's say physics. I click on physics. You see all the you can see we are from 2004 to 2025. You understand? So let's say I click on 20 JAM Physics 2022. You can see the questions, they are all staring at you. Then you can attempt the questions. Then at the end of it, you can scroll down to see the worked solutions and answers to these questions. Are you seeing it? It's really, really, really easy for you to understand, and it's a really helpful tool. Now, this is for all subjects. All subjects. You can see English, physics, biology, economics, literature and English, Christian religious study, mathematics, chemistry, government, commerce, geography. Now, that's how powerful the two PassJam is. You understand? So the website is passjam.org. You can actually find a link to the website, so you're pointed to the right direction. Now, of course, PassJam offers even more. Let's say you're done with your JAM exam and it's now time for you to start preparing for post UTME. Now, PassJam offer post UTME past questions and answers and post UTME mock for several universities. There's Uniben, there's Unilag, there's Uni Abuja, there's DESU, and there are more coming. You understand? So let's say Uniben, you can see this is Uniben. I'm talking about re Uniben past questions and answers. You understand? These like the what you are going to the bookshop to go and buy. Is that something you're staring at on the screen, right? And of course, you have Uniben mock exam. You can take mock exam before your actual post UTME exam. You understand? So it's a really powerful tool, and you can start to use PassJam uh with a free trial of 5 days. You can test, you can use it for 5 days free with nothing to be paid. Then after 5 days, you understand if it makes a lot of sense to you and you still want to keep using it, it's just 1,500 naira monthly. It's ridiculously cheap, yes, compared to the fact that you are not buying textbooks, you are not buying past questions. You can run multiple, you can write multiple mock exams, and you have a study planner. So 1,500 naira just for that a month, right? Now, so please don't forget, these are the 5 mistakes you should pay attention to not to make while preparing for JAM 2027. Now, if you find this video useful and you have a friend just like yourself preparing for JAM, please share, um, like, and of course subscribe to our channel because we're gonna be dropping more videos like this that's gonna educate you on how to smash your JAM exam. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks and cheers.